Hello, interpreters of knowledge. It takes years for a curriculum to change. First, the nature of the curriculum has to be envisaged. For example, outcomes-based was very different from the current CAPS. Then, the supposed subject experts have to be gathered and briefed. They are given time to work out what information should be included, for what grade, and when. This is done with regular meetings with the department and can take anything up to 2 years. Once the curriculum is drafted, it has to be edited and then translated into 11 different languages. Before it can be introduced, publishers have to be informed of the changes. Publishers then gather their writers and brief them. Then the textbooks are written, translated, illustrated, and submitted to the National Department of Education for their approval. This process can also take anything up to 2 years. Finally, every teacher in the country has to be trained in the underpinning philosophy of the new curriculum, the content, and the use of the textbook as resource material. And only then is the curriculum introduced. Probably from beginning to end, this process can take up to 5 years. I've told you all of this in detail so that you can see how impossible it's going to be for any curriculum to keep up with the changes that are happening around us. The fourth industrial revolution is speeding up this process, and on an almost daily basis we hear of change that is occurring. A national chain of supermarkets is currently introducing a teller-less store. The Internet of Things keeps us connected to our cars and even our refrigerators. They, in turn, are connected to the worldwide data-sharing web. Around the world, there are billions of devices involved in this data-sharing process. Artificial intelligence is already very active in our own smart devices. Remember when we used to call them phones? It can make suggestions to us about where we want to go, what we want to listen to, and even what we want to research on Google. In a world where the speed of change is lightning fast, how can we use our curricula, which become outdated almost as soon as they're written, to make knowledge current and relevant to our learners? As teachers, we have no control over what we teach. Or do we? What about if we add to our agency? We are already active agents of hope. What if we become active agents of change within our school systems and within our curricula? If we have a list of what we must teach, let's make that learning critical inquiry for our learners. Let's bring in more debates. Let's bring in more problem solving and creative thinking. Let's ask important questions in ways that stimulate personal thought and unique answers. Let's make that learning relevant. Picasso's Guernica was painted in 1937. It showed the misery and the horror of civil war. When I teach this painting to my students, I ask them to concentrate on this section of the painting. And then I show them this photograph by photojournalist Sam Zima. Suddenly they understand the universality of suffering. They understand the pain of one mother anywhere and any time. Now they are ready to be serious about Picasso. If we can find ways to do this kind of thinking in every subject, so that our learners begin to think critically, ask and answer good questions, and problem solve in their own unique ways, then we are preparing them for a world in which they're able to function. We might not know what that world is going to be, but they will find out and cope because they've been taught to think, to question, to debate, and to problem solve. And isn't that what teaching is all about? Take care of yourselves and stay safe. I'll see you again.